Hello, you cheeky scams. I'm Josh from What Culture, and everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. Everyone you love is dead, and I'm sorry. When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. It's a lesson embedded into the core of the show since the very first season, and as we approach the very end, it's still one of the truest sentiments ever expressed. And it's certainly something that came into play during the penultimate episode of Season 8 titled The Bells. Billed as the Battle of King's Landing and the Last War, there are a lot of deaths in this episode, way more than I think anyone was expecting. And certainly for everyone who accused the Long Night of absolutely bottling it when it came to major character deaths, this has to have satiated the bloodlust. The Bells kicks off with Varys writing letters that reveal Jon is the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, building on his decision to move against Daenerys in the last episode. That, ultimately though, is his undoing. Tyrion tells Dany that the Spider has betrayed her, and, as she promised him in Season 7, she has him burnt alive by Drogon. Watching the dragon reveal himself from the shadows was... yeah, it was a menacing image and indicative of the terror yet to come. From there, we get into the action at King's Landing, with Daenerys raining fire down upon the Iron Fleet, the Golden Company, and just about everything else in sight. The Golden Company in particular fare pretty badly, with their reputation as the finest sellswords in the world going up in literal flames, including the death of their leader, Harry Strickland. For all of the chest puffing, he goes down like an absolute chump as he attempts to flee back to the city and away from the rushing Allied forces, with Grey Worm being the one to bring him down. After Missandei's death, old Grey Worm takes absolutely no prisoners in this episode and later goes on to kill a whole bunch of Lannister soldiers. Once we move into the city, things start coming thicker and faster. The Hound arrives for his showdown with the Mountain, but the Mountain, upon seeing his brother, decides to ignore Cersei's orders and, when challenged by Qyburn, smashes the Hand of the Queen into a wall and flings him down the stairs, giving him an absolutely brutal end. A nasty way to go if you ask me, and deliciously ironic considering that it was Qyburn who created the zombie mountain in the first place. The action then shifts to Jaime and Euron, who have a fight as the former attempts to get to Cersei. What begins as a sword fight though turns quickly into a fist fight, and although Euron stabs Jaime a couple of times in the side, declaring him as the man who killed Jaime Lannister, it's ultimately Jaime who kills Euron. He dies, but in his own words, well, paraphrasing for YouTube anyway, he shagged the Queen and, in his mind, killed the Kingslayer, so he goes out fairly smugly. Clegane Bowl, however, continues, with Sandor realizing to his horror that stabbing his brother isn't going to kill him. One of the most brutal fights in the series' history reaches its conclusion as the Hound realizes what needs to be done, tackling Gregor through a wall and sending both Clegane brothers down into the flames, ending their story the exact same way it began. The deaths still aren't over though, because Jaime does find Cersei and attempts to smuggle her to safety via Maegor's Holdfast, only to find their escape route blocked. The Red Keep continues to crumble thanks to the dragon fire all over the place, and they have no choice but to hold each other as everything crashes down on top of them. So that's everyone who died in the last episode. Both heroes and villains bit the dust in what is a bumper episode in terms of deaths. I have no idea what's going to happen next week, but the Mad Queen, in my opinion, must absolutely be stopped. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you enjoy the episode, or is it just another slight disappointment in a series that has been very divisive? Either way, while you're down there, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to What Culture and Got Culture to get more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. I didn't even mention Varys absolutely looking down from wherever he is with the smuggest grin of all time because he knew and no one listened to him, and now they all paid the price. Varys, my boy, you were right.